situation. I see that that's the most tension. Is there real beef there, or is it just you want to get ahead and you see him as a guy that you sparred a lot and you feel you should be in that position?
No, I want to chop that kid's head off.
With all the heat of fight week now behind him, top junior welterweight Ryan Garcia is setting his sights on a potential world title shot against WBA champion in recess Rolando Raleigh Romero. But let's be real, this isn't just about a belt. This fight is about pride, ego, and settling a long-standing grudge. Garcia and Romero have been circling each other for years, throwing insults, dodging contracts, and letting their animosity simmer into something personal. Now, with Romero coming off an embarrassing knockout loss to Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Garcia riding high on momentum, the trash talk has reached a boiling point.
And I like Rolly Romero. He get a lot of hate, but think about who he's been fighting. He lost against Gervonta Tank Davis. He lost against Pitbull. These are all guys that guys duck and do not want no smoke with. But Rolly, whoever they want to put him up against, he down to fight. Real tough. And with Ryan Garcia, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Garcia, who recently made his return to the ring with a brutal stoppage win over the durable Oscar Duarte, wasted no time reigniting the feud. Just recently, he grabbed the mic and called out Romero in his usual flashy, no-filter style. If Raleighs want that, bring it on, Raleighs. I know you talk a lot, let's get that going, Raleighs. Where are you at? You got beat up by that old dude, we know what happened. It was a direct shot at Romero's TKO loss to Cruz, a loss that many saw as the final nail in the coffin of his credibility as a champion. Garcia didn't stop there. In the post-fight press conference, he mocked the legitimacy of Romero's WBA belt, saying, "I want Raleigh, just to be honest. I feel like it's a fun fight. He's an aggressive, crazy dude. The lead-up would be crazy. He has a title, technically, so yeah, let's do it."
I hope he keeps training with Derek James. That shoulder roll, that's amazing. It was a good performance. Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He stopped Jordan. Yeah, it was a great performance.
Romero, for his part, hasn't backed down. Despite the devastating loss to Cruz, he has remained defiant, claiming that Garcia wouldn't stand a chance against him in the ring. "They know I would F him up. They know I'm gonna beat the F out of him actually," Romero told his camp, dismissing Garcia's threats as attention-seeking antics. But behind the bravado, there's a growing sense that Romero knows he messed up. According to reports, Romero had turned down a lucrative fight against Garcia to take the lesser-paying bout against Cruz on the Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora undercard. That decision backfired spectacularly. Not only did Romero lose, but he also lost whatever leverage he had against Garcia. Now, instead of a championship showdown, he's coming into this potential fight as damaged goods.
He's not a boxer, so who gives a about him?
This is going to be wild. The homies at the Source of Boxing have confirmed that Ryan Garcia will fight Rolly Romero this May. And I don't know what's going to be crazier, the fight or the press conferences, because this is what Rolly had to say about compa Ryan the last time I interviewed him. Check it out.
I know this.
Garcia hasn't let up on the taunts. Recalling the Romero-Cruz fight, he went on social media to dismantle his rival's reputation. He's inexperienced, and now his chin is toast and his body can't take a shot. Those weren't even hard punches, Garcia wrote. The guy just can't take a punch. It's the truth. That assessment has gained traction among fans, many of whom have questioned whether Romero was ever a legitimate threat or just a product of Mayweather Promotions' careful matchmaking. Some have pointed out that Romero was given his WBA belt in a highly controversial fight against Ismael Barroso, a fight many believed should have been stopped in Barroso's favor. Now, after getting exposed by Cruz, the narrative around Romero has shifted. He's no longer the brash, unpredictable puncher that some thought could shake up the division. Instead, he's looking more like an overhyped fighter who talked his way into big paydays but couldn't deliver when it mattered most.
Yo no me cierro, como lo he dicho, yo aquí estoy para pelearle ahora en 140 y demostrarle que estamos igual de fuertes o más fuertes que en 135 y también callarle la boca.
I'm not about to dodge Ryan Garcia. I'm ready to fight him on 140 if he wants to. I'm ready.
Garcia has made it clear that this fight should have happened a long time ago. When I was making my comeback fight, I was pushing that fight against Raleigh hard, and he didn't want it after that year-and-a-half break. He didn't want it. He still didn't want it after I beat Tago, and he didn't want it after I beat Fortuna, Garcia revealed. Then I called him back so many times. Even the WBC ordered us to fight, and obviously they avoided it. It doesn't really matter, all that mandatory stuff. There's an underlying bitterness in Garcia's words. He feels like he's been chasing this fight for years while Romero has done everything possible to avoid it. And now that Romero has no other options, Garcia is making sure the world knows who's really in control.
His biggest fight was without Heyman. The most money he ever made was without Heyman. And then he goes back and fights for crumbs on a shitty TV network. Like, Al Heyman offered me a way better deal. Al Heyman's the best in boxing.
But there's another element to this fight that makes it even more compelling: the Canelo-Alvarez connection. Garcia and Canelo had a public falling out after Garcia left Eddie Reynoso's camp, with Canelo openly criticizing Garcia's discipline and work ethic. But in a surprising turn, Canelo has come out in support of Garcia ahead of this potential showdown. While he hasn't outright trashed Romero, his endorsement of Garcia speaks volumes. It's a sign that Garcia is starting to rebuild bridges and gain respect from the boxing elite. And for Garcia, who has often been dismissed as more of a social media personality than a serious fighter, having Canelo in his corner is a major boost.
My boy, Rolly. Give him a little message. Give him a little message, man. What's up with Ryan?
No Vaseline.
You heard it.
On the other side, Romero is trying to hold on to whatever credibility he has left. He's banking on the idea that Garcia is too fragile, both mentally and physically, to withstand a war. But that's a risky bet. Garcia, despite all his outside-the-ring antics, has proven that he can take a punch and come back stronger. His comeback against Duarte showed a renewed focus, and his quick hands and power remain dangerous. Romero, meanwhile, is coming off a knockout loss that exposed major flaws in his defense and durability.
Broly, Ryan Garcia said that he would give a shot to Rayo Valenzuela. What do you think about that fight if it happens?
Give a
Rayo.
or
That's
like,
what he
or
said.
Because we're Ryan, it could be, you're talking about a shot at tequila.
Is he gonna chug? As fight negotiations continue, the bad blood between these two is only getting worse. Garcia sees this as his moment to finally shut Romero up and take what he believes is rightfully his. Romero, on the other hand, is fighting for his career. Another loss, especially to someone as outspoken as Garcia, could end his relevance in the sport. That's what makes this fight so intriguing. It's not just about a title, it's about redemption, revenge, and proving who the real dog in the division is.
Who would you say is another good trash talker in boxing?
Right now, man, really, I mean, just that retarded ass fool Rolly, to be honest. Rolly right now probably runs his mouth the most, but he can't back it up. There's a difference between me and him. I talk a lot of trash, but I've been backing up everything I've been saying so far. But
in between all this, there has been one question everyone is asking. Is the fight really happening? Well, Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero is happening. Or maybe it's not. Or maybe it is, but people are still doubting it. The whole situation is chaotic, just like everything surrounding Garcia these days. But one thing is clear. Oscar De La Hoya believes this will be the biggest fight in boxing. The problem? Not everyone is convinced it'll actually happen.
Bring on Rolly. You know, he's part of PBC. We already ran it once with PBC. I need to get my get back. I'm going to beat Rolly. And we're gonna have that. I just pray to God, try to see where he was guiding me, and he just led me to Dallas, led me to Derek.
The heat started when Garcia went to X and confidently told the world that the fight was confirmed. Fans exploded with excitement. Finally, Garcia and Romero were going to settle their beef in the ring. But before people could even celebrate, things started falling apart. Suddenly, Romero was blaming De La Hoya for ruining everything. Garcia was calling out deception from his own team. And boxing fans, they were left wondering whether this fight was even real or just another tease in the never-ending soap opera that is Ryan Garcia's career. Romero, never one to hold back, made his feelings clear in an interview with ES News. According to him, everything was on track until De La Hoya got involved. There were moments when it seemed like it was going to happen, but it was just like De La Hoya didn't want that fight to happen, Romero said. He went even further, claiming De La Hoya disrespected him and his team, throwing obstacles in the way of negotiations. He disrespected me. He disrespected my team. He just didn't want that fight to happen.
February 22nd card is so good, I don't know who wins any fight. I'm guessing Better BF, I'm guessing Shakur, but really, that's a good card when you have no idea who's gonna win. I put up a poll, is Ryan gonna KO Rolly or is Rolly gonna KO Ryan? It was like 95% Ryan gonna KO Rolly. That means it's not a good fight. That's not good. That's not good when 95%
Of course, De La Hoya sees it differently. From his perspective, this is the fight to make, the one that could be a blockbuster on DAZN pay-per-view. He's been hyping it up, telling everyone who will listen that Garcia versus Romero is the biggest fight in the sport right now. But if that's true, why are there still doubts? For Garcia, this situation has been exhausting. After initially announcing the fight, he was blindsided when Romero suddenly revealed he'd be fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz instead. That left Garcia confused, frustrated, and most of all, betrayed. He turned to social media writing, "I was informed the deal was finalized and it would be announced in the coming days." Obviously, that was a lie.
Financially, you think you made a better decision fighting Pitbull than Ryan Garcia?
It's not even about money, but regardless, Al Heyman gave me a better deal.
Better deal.
Yeah, so who cares?
Okay, so do you still want the Ryan Garcia fight down the line?
Nah, he could go waste his time somewhere else.
You're not even interested in that fight?
Nah, he wasted.
This wasn't just another case of boxing politics ruining a fight. This was personal. Garcia has been trying to be more open with his fans, keeping them updated on his career. But this was something else. He felt like he was being played. "I've been trying to be patient and honest with my fans, but obviously I can't say anything until it's actually signed and delivered," he wrote. "I still look forward to putting on a big PPV for DAZN Boxing." Romero, on the other hand, isn't convinced Garcia even wants the fight. While blaming De La Hoya, he also hinted that Garcia might not be as eager to step into the ring with him as he claims. "I think Oscar is planning on putting Ryan in a really weird position right now, and it's sad because he can't be with people he trusts," Romero said. That's a direct shot at De La Hoya, but also a suggestion that Garcia might be stuck in a situation where he's being protected from certain fights. And that's where the controversy really starts. Some people believe Garcia wants all the smoke and is just a victim of bad management. Others think he's all talk and uses these social media callouts to stay relevant without actually following through. And then there's the third group, the ones who believe both things can be true. Maybe Garcia does want to fight, but maybe his team is holding him back for reasons that have nothing to do with boxing. De La Hoya, despite being blamed for the chaos, is pushing forward. He insists this fight is happening and he believes it's going to be massive. He knows that Garcia is a superstar and he knows that Romero, love him or hate him, is one of the best trash talkers in the sport. The lead up to this fight would be wild.
I mean, I hope he keeps training with Derek James. That shoulder roll, that's amazing. It was a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He stopped Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a great performance.
The press conferences, explosive. The fight itself, unpredictable. But here's the problem. Romero is already booked to fight Cruz. And while boxing has seen plenty of sudden changes, it's not easy to just switch everything around. If Garcia versus Romero is happening, someone has to step in and change the course. For Garcia, this fight is about proving a point. He's sick of the doubts, the cancellations, the people questioning his legitimacy. He wants to shut up Romero, take his belt, or whatever version of a belt he has left, and remind everyone that he's still a top dog in the division. But if it doesn't happen, it'll be another messy chapter in his unpredictable career. For Romero, it's about redemption. After getting stopped by Pitbull Cruz, he needs a big win to keep himself in the conversation. He's already talking like Garcia is scared of him. If the fight falls apart, he'll use that to push the narrative even further.
Ryan Garcia has too many people in his ear. He doesn't know who to trust and not to trust. He has just too many people around him. And in reality, the person he should have just sat down and called was me. He has my number. He should have sat down and called me. He's over here all over the place being fed.
And for De La Hoya, this is about business. He wants a huge fight on DAZN, and he knows Garcia versus Romero would sell. But is he really doing everything to make it happen? Or is he playing chess behind the scenes, setting Garcia up for a different path? And that is not even the end. If with analysts and fans questioning whether his upcoming fight is truly a dangerous challenge or just a carefully planned step toward a much bigger payday. With names like Devin Haney waiting in the wings, the stakes are high, not just for Garcia, but for those controlling his career behind the scenes. And while many are confident in Garcia's abilities, voices like Teofimo Lopez and Jamel Herring have raised serious concerns about the danger he could be walking into.
Ryan Garcia? Bro, he's one of the most entertaining fighters I've ever seen in my life. He gets hit, you don't know where the fuck, he throws some random ass hook that knocks people out. tilted. He does some weird ass fetal position.
Lopez, the former unified lightweight champion, has always been one to speak his mind, and he's not buying into the idea that this will be an easy fight for Garcia. He warned that Rolly Romero's power is something Garcia shouldn't take lightly. That's an opinion many may dismiss, given Rolly's recent performances, but Lopez knows firsthand what a single mistake in boxing can lead to. He's lived it. A shocking loss to George Kambosos Jr. derailed his own career for a time, and he's seen enough of Rolly to know that, despite his flaws, the man can punch. If Garcia walks in carelessly, trying to put on a show, he might end up dealing with something far worse than an upset, a career-altering disaster.
Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia would be an amazing fight, you know. Me and Ryan sparred way back when, you know. We sparred twice, and there's always it's gonna be. I mean, that fight will sell out. I know that fight will sell out. That's one of those.
And that's where things get really interesting. Some insiders believe Garcia's team handpicked Rolly because of his limitations. It's no secret that Romero has struggled when facing high-level opponents. He was knocked out by Gervonta Davis and brutally stopped by Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Many believe he also should have lost against Ismael Barroso and Jackson Marinez. So why would Garcia's team put him against someone like this? Because on paper, Rolly is beatable, but he still has a big name. He can sell the fight, and he's just dangerous enough to keep people interested, but not necessarily skilled enough to pull off the upset, unless Garcia makes a critical mistake. That's exactly what Jamel Herring fears. The former world champion made it clear, Rolly might be limited, but he's no pushover. He's the kind of fighter who can surprise you with one big shot. He's unorthodox, unpredictable, and relentless. Herring pointed out that Garcia's flashy style leaves openings, and Rolly is the kind of fighter who can capitalize if Ryan isn't careful. And let's not forget, Garcia was dropped by Luke Campbell before making his comeback. If Campbell could put him down, what happens if Rolly lands clean?
Get at it at 140. Bring on Rollies. You know, he part of PBC. We already ran it once with PBC. I didn't get my get back, so I'm going to beat Rolly's ass, and we're going to have that at 140.
But this fight isn't just about Garcia versus Romero. The bigger conversation is about what happens after. The grand plan for Garcia has always been a showdown with Devin Haney. That's the fight fans want, and more importantly, that's the fight Turki Al Sheikh, the Saudi boxing kingpin, wants to make. It's supposed to be one of the biggest fights of the year, but there's a problem. If Garcia loses to Rolly, the entire plan falls apart. The fight with Haney won't be as valuable. It won't be as marketable. And more importantly, Garcia won't have the leverage to negotiate the kind of deal he wants.
The fight Ryan Garcia has been in has been entertaining. But I don't know, it's just the way he throws punches looks weird as shit.
What do you mean?
He just, and then bro, he throws these fucking hooks at like fucking 200 miles an hour and shit.
Some people say he leaves his chin up when he throws that.
This is where the business side of boxing gets messy. Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest to ever do it, has been vocal about Garcia's decision to fight Rolly. In fact, some believe he's the one who convinced Ryan to go this route instead of taking on Haney right away. Mayweather, ever the businessman, sees the value in building the fight up. He knows that boxing isn't just about fighting the best, it's about making the most money possible. And according to him, the Garcia versus Romero fight will be a spectacle. He guaranteed that it would be action-packed and that fans wouldn't be disappointed.
NGQ, doing what I do. All white, looking nice. Okay, come through.
I don't know if Ryan Garcia is taking the fight serious or not.
But not everyone is buying it. Critics argue that this is nothing more than a stall tactic, a way to protect Garcia before the inevitable Haney fight. It's the same blueprint boxing has followed for years. Build up a star, give them a winnable fight that still looks competitive on paper, and then cash out on a massive showdown. And if we're being honest, Rolly Romero fits perfectly into that plan. He talks about a big game, he sells tickets, and he can make a fight entertaining. But when it comes to pure skill, he's not on Garcia's level.
I don't know, he apologized for it. You guys think that's really an apology? I don't know. Y'all think he apologized for real? You think that actually means something? I mean, he did say...
That's not to say there aren't risks. Boxing is unpredictable, and all it takes is one moment to change everything. Just ask Teofimo Lopez, who went from the king of the division to an afterthought overnight. Just ask Anthony Joshua, who was supposed to dominate Andy Ruiz Jr. and ended up getting knocked out. Upsets happen all the time in this sport, and Garcia is taking a huge gamble by facing someone who, despite his flaws, is still dangerous.
Hey, bro, you remember the night you fought Tank?
And then there's the question of whether this fight will even go as planned. Doubts have already been raised about the fight happening in the first place. We've seen big fights fall apart at the last second due to contract disputes, injuries, and personal issues. Some believe Garcia's unpredictable behavior could lead to problems. Others think Raleigh's team might find a way out if things don't look favorable. Even Oscar De La Hoya has been strangely quiet about the entire situation. De La Hoya, Garcia's promoter, has been at odds with him multiple times before. Their relationship has been rocky, with Garcia even hinting at leaving Golden Boy Promotions in the past. If there's tension behind the scenes, could that affect the fight?
Just they could go themselves for wasting my time. Like I said, going back and forth for the longest amount of time, and they want to do behind my back, they could off. Let's see if Fat Boy can even go down to 140. I heard he eating some tacos.
Could De La Hoya pull some strings to delay or even cancel it if he sees a better opportunity? It wouldn't be the first time boxing politics got in the way of a major event. Garcia has speed, power, and the skills to dominate. But as many have warned, if he underestimates Rolly Romero, he could be making the biggest mistake of his career. And in boxing, mistakes don't just cost you fights, they cost you everything. Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more.